this is EDH and I'm back with yet another series on depression. This time around, like I promised last time, I want to talk about the family and the support system of people who are basically the survivors and people who are going through mental health issues. So I know there is a lot of discussion about things to do, things to say, how to support the patients, how to basically be the support system. But there aren't a lot of discussions about how the support system keeps themselves healthy and how the support system basically processes what they are going through. So there are certain points that I want to touch upon today where you want to take notice of how you can start looking after yourself, especially if you're somebody who is taking care of a person suffering from a mental illness. So number 5 on my list is your reactions. So when somebody who's close to you, a friend or a family, gets diagnosed with depression, you're bound to feel certain things immediately right after. Questions like, okay, fine, why did this happen? What happened there? Did somebody trigger it? Did I trigger it? You might start feeling guilty. You might be fearful. What does this entail? What are the next, expected symptoms, or where does this go from here? Then confusion because you do not know a lot in depth about this situation. There's a lot of apprehension. Will it affect our relationship? What's really going to happen? All of these reactions. At times you even feel relieved because you basically get to know the reason of why all of those symptoms were basically surfacing. So that's also one of the reactions, thinking, oh, now I know the way this person used to react, or the way this person would continuously sleep in was because of this. Now I know why that happened. And then the other kind of reaction is where you go into just prep mode. Okay, what do I do next? Do I get support from a doctor? Do I get alternate medicine? What needs to be done in this scenario? So some people like to just jump into things. I would recommend process your reactions. I know there are certain do's and don'ts about what to say and what are the right things to say and right questions to ask to somebody who's suffering from depression. But I would very clearly point out your reactions, or what you're feeling as a support system of such a person. Each of those reactions is valid. All your reactions are valid. So please do not at any point in time feel guilty about feeling a certain way or having a certain kind of a question about, about the loved one who is suffering from mental health issues. Having said that, there are times when people feel exhausted. There are times when you as a support person would think, I wouldn't put up with all of this had I not been in love with this person. There are times when people can think, oh, this is so exhausting and it's taking a toll on me, and there's so much responsibility, consistent responsibility. I have to be very mindful of certain things around this person. Sometimes I have to walk on eggshells around this person. Please trust yourself in knowing if you're sticking by that person, that's because you believe in sticking by that person. Point number 4 is supporting a person consistently. Like I said, it's work. It's basically being there 24/7. Even if you're not there physically, mentally you are in that person's head, their support system. So if at any point in time they try to reach out to you in any way, tangible, intangible way, you are expected to be that rock that basically just is there for them. Understand that when you're doing that, it can change the dynamics of your relationship with that person. Sometimes what ends up happening is people who are in love with each other, husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, sometimes what happens is because one person is supporting the other as they're going through this, the relationship becomes more of a parent-child relationship. The dynamics change at times. Be okay with it. See, the dynamics are changing because you're actually trying to help someone out, and that person is seeking your help. Had the person not been seeking your help, had the person not tried to, reach out for support, or had you not been there for extending that support, the relationship dynamic in your mind would still be the same, or probably you might, in some cases end up things, or any other alternative is possible. But knowing what's really going on in this scenario, knowing how you need to take care of that person, and knowing that these kind of interactions, taking care of their food intake, helping them and motivating them to exercise, trying to help them overcome social anxiety, all of those efforts are way different from activities like going out for a movie, going out on a date. Your life, your day-to-day activities as a couple, for example, change completely, and that means the dynamics of your relationship may change. Again, please be okay with it. The third point is, you're investing a lot of energy, you're investing your heart and soul into somebody. Please, please, please look after yourself. That's very important. If you want to be in a supporting role in someone's life, and if you're not really fit yourself, you're not going to be of help to anybody. You're not going to be of help to that person, not going to be of help to yourself. You might end up ruining the relationship that you have. So I feel, as a person who is supporting somebody who's suffering from mental health issues, you basically need to keep yourself fit as well. And you basically need to be able to recognize your issues, recognize any problems that you are going through. And trust me, how much ever you might love the other person, if you're not okay, the other person is also not going to be okay if you're trying to support them. So like they say in the aircrafts, please put on your oxygen mask first and then help the other person. That needs to be done in this scenario as well. Point number 2 that basically just follows this is, figure out what is your support system. You are somebody's rock, you are somebody's pillar of strength, you are there at their beck and call emotionally. You have invested yourself into their betterment. But make sure you have your own support system as well. Make sure there's somebody that you can reach out to, somebody you can talk to, maybe a support group, maybe if need arises, maybe your own therapist, maybe just a friend, or have an outlet to process your feelings. I touched upon this before, but I do want to go a bit into detail in this, while we are talking about it. You need to be able to process your feelings of anger, guilt, confusion, questions, anxiety, all of those feelings. Have an outlet. Go to a batting cage. Go and join kickboxing. In my case, I actually build miniature, life setups. So do anything that floats your boat, that basically becomes sort of a catharsis for you, because you can, again, support somebody only when you are fully supported. The last point, and I feel this is the most important point that I want to talk about, is figure out what will work for you. And the reason I say this is, every person who is suffering from mental health issues has a different set of symptoms, because every brain is different. The way we are wired is different. That's the reason psychology is not a definite science, because every brain is wired differently. you have to figure out what is best for you. You have to figure out what is best for the relationship. You have to figure out how to work towards making things better for you as well as the person that you're supporting. So, there can be times when you feel maybe a group session with you, your relative, maybe your son, daughter, or your wife, or your sibling, will help them process things better, and you as well. That might in turn help you improve the dynamics of your relationship. So work out a structure and a process that fits you. Apart, in terms of supporting that individual. So these were the points from my end. I really wanted to touch upon this because I had some amazing folks who have been supporting me and who have supported me, including my family. And always, I've seen them go through a lot of ups and downs emotionally as well. Sometimes, most of the times, feeling that they haven't been able to do enough, especially if I go back into a very vulnerable state. But all the while just trying to come up with more ways to make my life better. But I do realize that it gets very tiring for them at times. And that's when I started to think about they are supporting me, but how are they supporting themselves? And how can we basically help support them? So that is it from my end. Please feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. I can definitely suggest a few organizations which are support organizations in US and online as well, which basically help the supporting people of folks suffering from mental health issues to be as solid and as strong as they need to be for their loved ones. That's it from my end, and bye.